Welcome back for some more Lesson 17. So make sure that you're still in your Lesson 17 program here. And we're going to scroll to the bottom. So we were dealing with two strings, the Dukes of Hazzard and Coat Room. So come on down to the bottom here and we're going to learn a new string strategy. So what we're going to learn, it's called trim. So say you have, I'm going to create a new string and call it S3. And we're going to type some stuff in our string. So this string says Happy New Year. If you notice, we have some blank space out front. There's a tab in here, there's a tab here, and there's a new line. So what trim is going to do is it's going to get rid of all of that excess white space. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell it to print X, then add in S3.trim, open close parentheses, because remember that's where the information has to go. And then we're going to add X. So those X's in there are just space holders. It's just to show us where the actual trimming happens. So if you run your program, oh, it's unhappy about something. Oh, I already have S3. So let's try S90. There's not an S90 yet. There's not. Let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so look. If you look at this, what happened is it took off all that white space. So all this stuff right here is gone. And then everything after the exclamation, including the tab and the new line, have been removed. So trim is a good way just to get rid of some excess white space. So let's make a new class in that default. And I'm just going to call it Lesson 17 Part 2. Make sure you turn on your public static void main. Finish. And then I'm also going to put in my usual top information. And I'm also going to reorganize my brackets. So in this part, we're going to be learning about scanners and delimiters. So we've already dealt with scanners a little bit before. So scanners is where we, use the keyboard to interact. So what if we brought in a scanner and just automatically sent it text? So if we put in scanner sc equals new scanner, we're going to say, let's play with this scanner. Don't forget your semicolon at the end here. So now, if we want to print parts of this, out.println, and we did sc.next. So we're printing the text that we just typed in there. Notice that we have an error here. Remember, when you use the scanner, you have to import Java util. So up at the top, import java.util.star. Okay, now we don't have errors. So go ahead and hit run. And it says let's. So remember, when we were putting in before, we were bringing in all the words. So you want to bring in your full name. We put in next line. So next has a delimiter of space. So what happens is the second that it hits a space, that's the delimiter that's telling it to stop. So a delimiter is something like a space in between words or a tab. So a delimiter is basically telling you where you want it to stop by something that's in common. So if you put a bunch of dashes or underscores, that could be your delimiter too. Now another thing you can do is the next is just going to print the first word basically. It's going to hit that space and decide that it's over. So what we can do too is we can tell it to print within our scanner, find in line. You see how it has pattern in here. So it's looking for some sort of pattern within our string. So if you put in like PL, where it has it right here, it should be able to find that and print it. So let's play with that. So hit run and it prints PL. So if you had like PA, there's no PA in there, you run it, it replies with null. So null is Java's way of saying this isn't going to happen, not accurate. So I'm going to change it back to PL just so we can have a correctly running program for you. So now let's take a look again at this next and delimiters. So what happens is when we run our scanner and we say next, it's going to go here, it's going to hit that white space, and it's going to stop. Then our scanner is going to start at the next available place as not a delimiter. So if we did system.out.println, we did sc.next again, our scanner has already advanced beyond this next to this one. So let's make sure that that works. And it works. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing next, that it's going to pick up at delimiters and it's going to run the next part. That's what, so the scanner moves. So now if we did it again, the scanner would start right here in front of the W. So what you can do is you can actually set your own delimiter. So I'm going to get in my scanner, and it's a code called use delimiter. And it says pattern. So you're looking for a string pattern. So what happens is we've already had two next. So right now our scanner is right here in front of this W. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop in an H followed by a space. Okay, so and then you put a plus, end quotes, and a semicolon. I know this looks weird. So if you look in your book, it's on page 507. It's Appendix AC called Regular Expressions. This is where you can find all your delimiters and what they all mean. There's a lot of different stuff. But in the meantime, just know that this is an H followed by a space. Okay? That's what that means right there. So this is going to move our scanner, which is currently right here, to here. So because our last next stopped here at the Y, what it's going to print if we print this. So we're going to, and I'm going to retype this out. We're going to use this exact same code right here. System next. So what we did was we moved our scanner to stop whenever it sees the H and the space behind it. So it's going to print the space and width. So let's go ahead and run that just to double check and make sure it works. And it does. So this is basically just changing the place of our scanner. So that next delimits by space. This set your own delimiter. We're just telling it where to stop, basically. So now, if we look, we've printed all the way to width, and our scanner is now right here in front of that H. So our next thing that we're going to look at is not this delimiter, we're going to do skip. The skip is going to be a little different. So we're going to put in that same set that we had for our delimiter, so that H, and then followed by a space. But instead of putting in that plus, we're going to put in a times. So now this H ends, and the next thing that we see is PH. So I'm just going to put in PH. So let's see what this actually does. So go ahead and run it. So what this is going to do is it's going to skip, starting with the H, ending with TH, and then print everything else. You're now ready for the last video of lesson 17.